New Chanel, mama and Gucci, got out the hoop, yeah. Been through hell, carry the, life is a movie, yeah. We prevail, now we do the coupies, don't do the groupies, yeah. Got money for bail, don't act like you know me, knock off your koofy, yeah. Flooded the rollie with Ethan, Hellcat Katrina the Beamer, blowing the money like Freeman. I got a flex in the sleepers, they tryna do me like Caesar. You gotta watch for the creepers, I got the eye to see you.
Hey guys, check out our merch. It's on Shopify. It's Dream Chasers, DREAMCHASERS indie.myshopify.com. Dreamchasers-indie.myshopify.com. If you like some of the shirts that you see in some of our videos, check us out today.
That's good, man. That's real cool. I hear a lot of good stories about Peyton. Sound like a great guy. I think I had an opportunity to meet him. This was I forget what year it was. My brother was playing for the Pacers, and we ended up not going because my brother had something. And I was upset about that. I always wanted to meet Peyton, but you know, I'm pretty sure that'll happen because I'm so big time right now.
That's it.
So, post football, man, you get done, you hang the cleats up. Where do you go? Where does the journey from Jermaine Chaney go from being a regular football guy, loving sports, to Chaney Financial Group? How did we get there?
Yeah, man, and I think most people can that have been through the transition. Is definitely by far one of the most difficult things that you can do in your life, because you still are in between worlds, right? And so one world is, hey man, that's yeah, he plays with the Colts, and
Right.
When they stop, depositing that check, then man, you like, okay, I got to do something else ASAP, right?
And so it's funny. Let me cut you off.
Yeah.
So it's funny, man. My brother retired. Jermaine O'Neal retired. Jonathan Bender. These are all guys I talk to. So it's funny because all of them kind of had somewhat of a story. Like Jonathan Bender told me, he when he retired, but he came back. But he had that bad knee. He had something really bad happen with his knee, and he was just saying, he said, man, I was living this life and everything was whatever. And he said he had like a pile of money, and his money just kept going down and down and down. Then Jermaine had told me, Jermaine was like, man, he said it was like losing his identity. He said, people obviously knew who he was because he's Jermaine O'Neal. He's 6'11" and you can't miss him.
Right.
But he was just saying like how your life changes. And I kind of saw that somewhat with my brother. My brother kind of went through a stint where, I ain't gonna say he wasn't himself, but he just kind of was like, those guys, I get it. Y'all probably was to the point where like, man, where I'm gonna make some money at? You know what I mean? Because everything that you do, period, having Jermaine Chaney, Al Harrington, whatever name behind you, people are probably looking at y'all like, oh, well, they got money. We gonna go ahead and let me do this, and maybe they may skim off the top, or maybe they may not mess you over, but maybe they're not as protective because they think that you just have that money. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just crazy how, like what you're saying, like, going from everything at your feet, you know what I mean? And NBA player, I remember my brother had everything at his feet. Whenever he wanted something, he wanted to go out, and it's a packed club, they're gonna find a way to get him in, or he go to a store and it's laid out for him to now you're a regular guy. But go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, man, it's all the same, other than the Hoopers get guaranteed money, man. So we ain't getting no guaranteed money.
Right.
But you're absolutely right. I mean, you've been catered to all your life, right? Like when I showed up at Indiana, right? This is my schedule, right? This is my courses that I want to take. This is my schedule. You're already enrolled in all your classes, right?
Right.
You know, you know, you wherever you go, things are already taken care of, right?
Right.
You know, you just all they want you to just show up and play, right?
Absolutely.
And so now when that check stops, you can be 6'11" and be unemployed, right? And that's just a bad feeling, you know.
Right.
So, you know, my transition really came really into the financial services arena.
Right.
You know, I got referred on to a financial planning shop from one of the guys from my church,
Okay.
you know, and I didn't really know, you know, I enjoy people, love people, but
Right.
just still didn't know, man, hey, was this the right industry or
Right.
field for me?
Right.
You know, because most cases you're trying to monetize on current relationships or players that you played with. And even in that rat race, it's a little different just because, I mean, you know, dude, I'm number one, I don't have time to chase dudes, right? Because this is the stuff I'm doing is for you, right?
Right.
You know,
Right.
and so but making that transition and understanding about, you know, having you know, really enjoy helping people, you know, sometimes put you in a position that, man, it could be a lot of things that you could be able to do actually once your career is over.
Right.
And some guys say, hey, I want to get into that, but man, have no people skills, right?
Right. For
You
sure.
know, and so that makes it very difficult. And then that transition. And then the other thing is everybody's in real estate, which is hilarious to me, but no one's getting a license, right? You know,
Right.
and so you know, to be able to find something that you're interested in and get credential, you know, then that just positions yourself as still back to what I said earlier, is you're being coachable. You're now learning about the ins and out of that industry that you're trying to navigate to be able to do. So that's exactly what I did. Went through all the testing stuff and worked through that firm. And it wasn't like I was there killing it, but man, my mind just thought differently on things that that I thought that I could probably do maybe a little bit different. And so I worked there for 4 years, had the opportunity to take a mission trip through my church to Budapest. And man, I got back, man, and went back, met with the owner and put in my 2 weeks. They said I could leave that day. So that was it, man. That's how it goes in the financial services. So man, I, you know, said goodbye to my buddies. Like, man, we'll see you next week. I said, man, I'm gone.
Right.
No, man, Chaney, well, like, no, I'm gone. So, man, we have been at this thing, Chaney Financial Group, for almost 17 years now, man, and grateful to the Lord for the opportunity and people that He's allowed for us to be able to meet and to help. Right. So, still love helping people.
Right. So, I have a lot of people that watch these podcasts. You know, a lot of different business owners. You know, maybe a lot of people with a lot of money and getting taxed and all that good stuff. First of all, what we're going to do, I'm going to make sure while you're talking during this next question that we're going to put your info up. You know, they'll have I'm going to put your email address, put your business name up, all that good stuff, because obviously we want to promote you. You're my guy. I want to know, like, what, you know, to the people that are listening, that maybe you're a big time hotshot real estate guy, or you got some big trucking company or whatever, and how can your services help them, you know, as a person, as a business, and then talk a little bit more about some of the services that you offer that that, you know, maybe can help them with taxation, maybe can help them with retirement, or, you know, some of the stuff. Just break it down for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, oftentimes, and you probably know this better than anybody else, you know, Harvey, as a coach, or even a coach or a trainer, you can identify things that maybe needs to be improved on, right, with that athlete, right, just out the gate. You ain't got to spend 4 hours. You can say, hey, I need you to run here and come back, and then you can already be able to identify some things that they need to work on.
Absolutely.
I don't, our firm, man, we're just, and we modified a little bit, man, just because it's like, number one, I don't want to get out and chase people. That makes no sense.
Right.
But I want to at least try to condense a few things down. We got really three verticals that we're after, that oftentimes makes a lot of sense for business owners or high net worth individuals. And not saying I won't help anybody else because I'm in the business of helping, but I had to, reduce the net down to then start to be able to do some things that can have a great impact. One of the verticals is we have a private placement memorandum structure, and that's in the life settlement, and we can get into that stuff later. But essentially, what it does is it gives that individual something to invest in that has nothing to do with the market.
Okay.
Uh, Secondly, is we work within the oil and gas arena, which is
Okay.
great from a tax strategy. And this is part of the issue I think we have with even business owners as well as current athletes, and you you wonder why that pile of money you had it just dwindling down.
Right.
It's the taxation, right? It's not necessarily getting out and making more money, but it's like, okay, what is my tax plan that
Right.
can help me at least be able to kick that tax can down the road,
Right.
and not necessarily continue to keep diminishing, any of the money that I've been able to accumulate.
Right.
Oftentimes say that, we always remember the larger number, right?
Right.
It's like, hey man, such and such man, he signed for $20 million, right?
Mhm.
You know, and okay, how much you think will he'll receive or ever touch his hands in that 20 million, right?
Right.
Oh man, you got to get all 20. No, he won't get all 20.
Man.
He might get 9 or 10, right?
Right. Right.
But everybody remembered the 20. And then they wonder, like, well, what happened to it? I can't believe he blew all that money.
Right.
He's got an uncle, and they call him Sam, right?
Man, I don't know why I laughed so hard at that because I was like, well, you lost me for a second. I was like, oh, Uncle, what
Yeah,
the Uncle Sam, huh?
they call him
Yeah.
Sam, man. And he
Yeah.
doesn't care, man. And that's the difference of trying to teach people on gross versus net, right?
Right.
Just
Right.
some I'm gonna use the word basic stuff, but man, it was new for me whenever I first got involved in this industry because my parents never got into any of this stuff, man.
Right.
And so oftentimes people are just like, man, I don't know what to even ask you.
Right.
And so, I'm just still into the people business. One
Right.
person won't make or break us from that standpoint, but if we can help, would love that opportunity. And the last vertical is in the premium finance space,
Okay.
which is just other. The other thing that's coming down the pipe here is within this death tax or this
Mm.
estate planning play.
Right.
That specific dollar amount has now been potentially will be reduced.
Right.
That now you need to make sure your ducks are in a row from a taxation standpoint to have a vehicle or something to at least fund or pay for the death tax.
Okay.
And
Absolutely.
so, still that being said, you just need to have a team or a squad that you can put together.
Right.
And one thing that I always hear a lot, hey, I got a guy.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All
Right.
right, nothing wrong with that. You got a guy. That's great.
Everybody knows a guy.
Hey, I got a guy.
Maybe
You
you the
know.
guy. Right.
And, but if we hurt our knee, right?
Right.
And you might say, hey, I got a guy, he's a top surgeon, but you're gonna always get a second opinion,
Right.
right? If it's
Absolutely.
got anything to do with cutting, you're like,
Right.
man, wait a minute, I need to check someone else.
What are,
And all I'm
what are we
asking
doing?
at
Right.
times is, measure that against who your normal guy is, man, and have an alternative option to consider, right?
Right. Right.
So that's all. That's all.
It's funny, man. We're gonna finish up with this, but you were talking about I did a segment on Shaquille O'Neal, talking about how he spent $1 million in one day.
Mm-hmm.
He got $1 million check from an endorsement, and he went out and bought a Mercedes for $250,000 or whatever. Got home, his dad asked, was like, "Man, where mine at?" Got him one, $500,000. Came back home, his mom was like, "Oh, I like that, but I need a smaller one," and got another $100,000. Then he went out and bought, put beats in the car, rims, and whatever else. So they spent $1 million. And this segment that I did, I talked about like what NBA players make, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to educate kids that are trying to get to that next level. Maybe you're really good and you watch this and you're in college, and before you get your $1 million, I don't want you to squander it. I'm trying to help people, just like you said you like to help people. I want to help people as well. So I'm going to read this off to you. Steph Curry, I said Steph Curry, the Steph Curry, Splash Brother, original one. He, I don't know which year this was. His gross pay was $34.6 million. 34. Remember this, JC.
Yeah.
All right. His NBA escrow this was 2017 to 2018. NBA escrow was $3.4 million. All right. Federal taxes, and that was 10%, right? Federal taxes was $11.6 million. That's 33.61% of that contract, right? City and state taxes, 11.84%. It was $4.1 million, right? His agent was $954,000. That was 2.75%. His 401k was $18,000, was 0.05%, and then he had received back a portion of the escrow from the year prior, which was $605,000, which was 1.75%, and then he had a shortfall of $177,000, which was 50.51% or whatever. So out of that $34.6 million. Guess how much he netted? Just take a wild guess. And I know I threw a lot of numbers at you.
You said the gross was
$34.6 million was his gross pay. Guess what he netted?
Probably $8 million.
Nah, $15.2 million.
Okay.
But that's crazy. Like, that's a lot of cake. It's a lot of money, man.
That's the point. And I went even lower,
right?
Just with the mindset of is all of that reported, right? So
right.
Sometimes, so you have a 401k, you can obviously defer 18,000 or so. Right. Sometimes, and I don't probably seem like they don't, have other plans that you can be a part of to help defer even more taxation, that it still will come back to him at the end. But yeah, I mean, but that's the point, man. And and if you're doing this because you said your uncle has some knowledge in this stuff, and he don't have any knowledge in this stuff, this is too critical, right? To leave it up to your uncle, right, who has no experience in this space, right? And I'm just preaching to the choir because I've heard it a lot, right? And now you're a professional, you need to hire professionals, right? To in turn that'll help look out for your interests. And just because you have one financial advisor doesn't mean you can't have two, because you need to have some kind of balance in terms of everything he's telling you need to do versus, okay, here's an alternative route that you can do without additional exposure. But the biggest problem, and you mentioned like his agent was like 975,000 or something like that.
Right.
You've just described, a paycheck of a W-2 employee.
Right.
You can't write nothing off. Right. You can't even have your car and your company LLC's name, right? You don't have any of those amenities to be able to tap into. That's why it's critical to offset that and not just say, hey, I got another business. It's in the real estate. Okay, great. It can't be a hobby.
Right.
This is
Right.
part of the things we start to look at. When you start to transition out of football, that starts, or sports or whatever it happens to be, that starts when you first get there. You don't wait to
Right.
the end to transition. You start to transition while you're there. So
Right.
some of that is, okay, or there's some opportunities can I invest in that'll give me the ability to have some additional tax deductions, right?
Right. Right.
I've got a couple projects I'm working on, one for bank opportunity,
Right.
from that aspect for folks who would like to participate and be a part of a bank.
Right.
I've got another gentleman that has some unique designs and bottles and things of that nature that could also be another. There's thousands of things, and things need to be vetted, but those are some of the other key pieces to help and minimizing your taxation. Because as a W-2 employee, man, no, people talk all the time. Oh man, I can't believe they paid this guy $80 million. What owner do you know that pays his employee more than him?
Right.
I hadn't ran.
None. Zero.
Excuse me. I hadn't ran into him
All right.
at all. Yeah, I hadn't ran into him at all. And those are things you start to peel it back and start to look at. What is my tax game, right? What's my tax strategy? What could I be doing? Versus just taking it in the chin, keep taking it in the chin,
Right.
and wondering where the money went. Yeah.
So what we'll do, JC, we will actually do a I want to do a follow up with you where you give us we'll let you share the screen. You can give us a screenshot, and screenshot will say, hey, this is what I do. This is what I'm saving a client. This is an example and stuff like that. And we can actually, actually give a little bit more value. I mean, I think it'd be good for any athletes that are out there that are going in that direction, or any business owners that may be watching this, and then we can kind of like I said, more or less, push your business, and then we'll help people as well.
Yeah, I think if we can at least, and this is therapeutic for me, but I think if we can get on a regular schedule of once a month, just kind of going through, or maybe there's some other questions that can potentially come up to talk through. Yeah, I got no issue with that. Especially, kind of knowing just what you're trying to do from your business aspect. I think people need to understand kind of some of the ins and out. Not saying they're going to come out and be an expert, but at least getting a better perspective on things that you'll be dealing with from that standpoint.
Right.
If your passion, like, and one thing I forgot to mention, hey, I am married, right? So
absolutely.
I got 4 kids, so we need to eat now.
Right,
we need to eat. But
sure.
4 kids, married. In June will be 21 years. I got 3 girls and a boy, and I still volunteer. Right, my 2 older girls are at Covenant Christian, so I help out with the football team. So we, as a squad, man, was able to win the single A state championship, which was a blessing.
Right.
And actually, just a couple days ago, man, I just completed my MBA degree, Master's in Business.
Congrats on that.
So it's been a ooh-wee couple years, man. Ooh-wee, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, hey, man, I want to thank you for coming on. Like I said, we'll do that. Let's do like a once a month deal. You can put it out there, because I'm always willing to learn. And like I said, I know there's people out there that they want to hear this stuff. You know what I mean? And we can go from there.
Yeah, no, I got really no problem with that, man. And some of the things, as I think about it, we all need a team, right? I can't sit here and think, hey, I got all this stuff figured out. But you start to line yourself with like-minded people who have other areas of expertise that they're able to do. Even with, I had a great call this week here with a state planning attorney.
Mm.
I conversate with CPAs, right?
Right.
And then other people have some other areas, right? If even in just assets under management, just managing assets or helping people in that space. So, we've been able to at least put together a squad, that could at least be able to help whomever that comes through the door from that perspective.
Okay. All right, man. Well, we appreciate you for coming on, Jermaine Chaney. Like I said, I'm going to put his information up again one more time so you guys have it. He's in the Indianapolis area. You need somebody to talk finances with, or you're looking for you're looking for someone to deal with taxation, or that can further your wealth. This is a guy, Jermaine Chaney. I brag on him because he's my guy. And like I said, we're definitely going to keep pushing forward. And if you like this interview, we're going to tag and do another one soon. All right. Thanks for being on, JC.
Hey man, thanks hard, man. Blessings to you, man. And I still need to get my Dream Chaser merch.
Man, when I can get it, man, this pandemic is killing me, man.
I feel you, but yeah, I'll be a representation, right?
Absolutely.
I don't need no tight shorts though.
We ain't gonna do you like that, man.
No, don't do me like that,
ex-football player, we ain't gonna do you like that. We gotta get you right.
Hamstrings and quads, I can't do that.
All right, man. Well,
hey, brother, appreciate it. Thanks, Howard.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.